Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, everybody. How we doing? Hopefully everyone is doing well. We got an important show. We have an important show. I already kind of see I'm going to have to do a little deconstruction. Okay. So, in recent weeks, Twitter had an update with a feature that allowed for users to see where an account was actually located and where the account originated from. And where it really originated from, not where the user said that they were from. I'm not on X anymore. I haven't been on X I think I did away with my X early this year because I don't like Twitter, because Twitter is messy. The only reason I was even on it was, just to have my show have social media presence, but I don't like Twitter. But in any case, I don't know if that feature is still available. There were people that were saying that the feature is now gone. There were other people who were also saying that the feature is still there. Since I am not on X, I don't know one way or the other, and I'm not going to log back in just to see it. However, what was revealed was something that I had begun to suspect for quite some time. And I'm going to be real with you. The Psy-Ops started when content started being skits that were trying to pass themselves off as actual situations that people were in reality. And people started doing skits, Black people started doing skits that was supposedly mimicking the actual issues that Black men and women have been discussing over the past probably 10 to 15 years among themselves over the internet. Okay. So I have begun for quite some time to suspect that things were not as they seemed. And the reason why, aside from people's skits, which kind of became more noticeable, the reason why I suspected that it was deeper even than skits was the presence of bots, on social media, not just on Twitter, but on all social media platforms, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on all of these social media pages, and understanding that these bots are there to create dissension, not only between Black men and women, but to create or to stoke the fires of quote unquote racism and things of that nature. So here's the thing. I'm gonna start kind of from the top. I'm gonna show you the videos, the couple of videos that sort of reveal these things. But before I get to them, I want to say this. When the Black Manosphere, I'm gonna say the Black Manosphere specifically began, it began as a genuine conversation. It began as a genuine set of concerns that primarily the men were having. It was a conversation among the men, and it was sort of unprecedented in the fact that men, due to the internet and social media, men were able to be connected in a way that they had not been connected before. Okay. And so these conversations began to transpire, and they began as genuine concerns. They began as genuine conversations. This was before any bots. This was before any trolls. This is before any of that. These conversations, those concerns, the conversations where so-called talking points sprang from, those were real conversations. I was there for many of those conversations, not all of them, but I was there for many of those conversations. Okay. Regardless of what you want to say about people like Tommy Sotomayor, whether you like him or not, whether you rock with him or not, when he was doing his thing in like 2013 and 14, which is when I started tuning into him, this is when, before he got real big and things of that nature, his content, some people say that his content is more shock value now, but I remember then, regardless of how you feel about it today, yay or nay, I remember then he was quite sincere. And I'm not saying he's not sincere now. I'm just saying when I first started tuning in, I could hear the sincerity in it. These were genuine conversations being had. Okay. The Ibmore, the MGTOW, things like that. These were genuine conversations that the men were having. Eventually, the women began to be a little bit more participatory in these conversations. It started out more as listening, more as the audience, before women began to truly participate in the actual conversations. And so, without getting into like manosphere history and all that type of stuff, women became more involved in the conversation. But that's not even where the problem began, because for many years after that, those conversations were still authentic. Those conversations were still being had from a sincere, authentic place. These were not troll conversations. These were not body conversations. These were not conversations for clicks, views, and engagement and shock value or any of that. These were conversations that were had in order to actually either come to a solution one way or the other. Okay. And so when we were having those types of conversations, this was fruitful, because regardless of whether you thought that the Black community could be saved, or whether or not you thought Black families could be saved, or anything like that, the conversations were more fruitful in the past. They were more honest. They were more geared towards actually having conversations in good faith. They were geared towards actually, as Hamp would say, mind things out. in a true fashion, not in a facetious way, not in a a flippant kind of way, and not necessarily having the same conversations over and over and over. Like, it was really trying to dig down and drill down into the psychology, into what was really going on in the minds of the men, in the minds of the women, and why it was that we really could not come together, or why did we split like this in the first place. However, because after COVID, I'm going to tell you when things really ramped up. It was after COVID. During and after COVID, podcasting and this sort of talk became financially lucrative for some people. Okay? Everybody thought that they could be the next Kevin Samuels because they saw the latter part of his online career. Most people do not remember when Kevin Samuels used to be on BGS Idmore's panels all the time. And I'm not saying all these things, excuse me, to downplay Kevin. This is not about that. Kevin's success was his own, but he had been building that for a couple of years. Like, he had been building towards that. So that's not something that just happened overnight for him either, because he was a heavy participant in those conversations, trying to mine down and drill down onto what actually is going on. And he used to get a lot of, like, no, I wouldn't say pushback, but I guess for lack of a better word, because Kevin would talk about the shortcomings of the men also. He was well aware of the female shortcomings. He was well aware of that. But he also would talk about, okay, well, the men, to some women's point, is not on up to par either. And he wasn't necessarily so much talking about money as he was just how Black men was comporting themselves, generally speaking, and how they was, carrying themselves, quote unquote, in relationships and not really doing what it was required to have a good woman come to you, get on your program, and y'all make it. Okay? The reason I'm bringing up Kevin is because people saw that blow up and wanted to mimic it, but they wanted to mimic it for the money, not for disseminating actual information that could actually help somebody or give someone something to think about, so that they can actually translate some of these things into their lives and perhaps have a better outcome. Okay? People became more involved or more attracted to the salacious parts, or the parts where he was really getting on somebody, the entertainment value of it, more so than they were listening to what he was really saying and why he was really saying it. Okay? So once the brother passed away, plenty of people was trying to reproduce that in their own way. They wanted that success as well. And it became a bit easier to do because the aftermath of the pandemic and all of that kind of stuff, people were still furloughed for a lot. People were still not getting back to their jobs immediately and things of that nature. So people had time to sit and consume content. This is where I believe the botting started coming. But before the botting got big, the grifters came along. So then you had the grifters, the people who didn't care one way or the other about men and women's issues, and specifically the issues between Black men and Black women. It became just a talking point fest. No one wanted to come down and actually talk to one another. We wanted to talk at one another. People wanted to see platforms and content where men was talking at and getting at women and telling them how unvaluable they are, and tell them how goofy they are, and tell them how they're not going to have good outcomes because, you know what I'm saying, of the way that they carry themselves and things of that nature, without the real context behind it. It was just something for clicks, views, and, you know what I'm saying, entertainment. Not anything for educational value or bringing any real value to the people who was consuming the content so that any actual changes could be done. Okay. So then after we have the grifters, some made it, some didn't. Not everybody want to be a podcaster. Not everybody want to talk about the same thing. So what that does is that opens the door. Once the integrity of the conversations left the room, that invited grifting and what we're about to expose here, botting and rage bait. And I'm going to get to it right now so that you can know what I'm talking about. Uh-oh. Let's do this one first.
To the other accounts, they basically took this salacious commentary and ran with it.
Hiding behind names like Black Tea or Urban Gossip, posing as insiders from our community.
Mm-hmm. But exposure changes everything. Look at how this group of channels, owned and operated by the same person, amplified Willie Laney's lies. These videos didn't appear randomly. They were released in sequence. Look at the pattern and malicious intent by which they operated. This is coordinated amplification, and their goal is always one thing: make the lie go viral. Get people to start writing the celebrity, get their attention, get them to respond and feed the algorithm. Once they pull you into it, they profit from the chaos. Then there are the accounts that we are not in settlement talks with, and they are named in our lawsuit. Here they are. Nazir Rao claims to be based in the U.S., runs the channel Star News, targets Black U.S. celebs and public figures with misinformation. He's actually based in Pakistan. Dinar Minglalamov runs the channel Black Tea, claims to be based in the United States, targets Black celebs and public figures with denigrating content. He's based in Russia. Kunjamal Jayan, official Vault Videos, claims to be based in the United States, targets Black public figures and celebs with defamatory content. He's based in India. Imran Igra runs the channel Celeb News, claims to be based in the United States, targets Black celebrities with misinformation and also Black public figures. He is actually based in Pakistan. Mohammed Shabazz Haider runs the channel Celebrity Star Talks, claims to be based in the United States, a gossip channel with negative content about U.S. Black celebrities. Mohammed is based in Pakistan. Sunny Duvall claims to be based in the United States, runs the channel Mukam Music, targets Black celebrities with negative commentary, actually based in Pakistan. Muhammad Islam runs the channel We Got Celeb, claims to be based in the United States, targets Black public figures and celebs with negative and denigrating content. Muhammad is actually based in Pakistan. We looked into the other accounts that basically took this salacious commentary and ran with it.
Hiding behind names like Black Tea or Urban Gossip, posing as insiders from our community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's just one. So, as it's being exposed that these accounts on these social media platforms, the people who or the organizations, I'm saying that these are intelligence organizations, because them people over in them other countries, as an individual, they don't get nothing out of that. They wouldn't know to do that. But if you have intelligence agencies speaking and communicating to one another and say, you know what, y'all handle this part of it. You know, you know what I'm saying, the CIA and all the alphabet crew talk to these other intelligence agencies across seas and in other countries, things of that nature. And, you know, they discuss propaganda. They discuss methodology in order to, you know, promote certain things. They already see how the conversation is going in Black America, but they also saw that it might have come to a solution. If we were allowed to continue to speak to each other without interference, we would have come to a solution by now, one way or the other. Whatever we was going to say, whether we was going to say we not going to have nothing to do with each other, or we was going to say, no, as Black people, we really need to get it together and things of that nature. Let's try to come together. Let's try to come and meet each other in the middle so that we can actually get things back on track. It was always a possibility that we would get things back on track. So they began to do what they always do with the Black community, is meddle with us, come and run interference with us in a covert way so that we will not be able to detect that interference is being ran until way after the fact. Exactly. Now, people will say 44. Now, people will say, to your point. So now the real question is, if Black Americans are nothing, why focus on us? To your point, people will get on here and say, Black people will get on here and say that white supremacy and the power structure and all of these different things are no longer there. It no longer matters. It doesn't really exist. It's not hindering nobody. If Black people are at the bottom and we are nothing, and it doesn't matter what we do one way or the other, why meddle? If us getting ourselves together as a family and eventually coming back together as a community and eventually building a stronger bond with one another as a community in this country, if that's not a threat, if it don't bother nobody one way or another, if ain't nobody worried about it, then what you worried about it for? Leave us be. If we are the trash that you say we are, if Black people are the nothing and the trash and the degenerates that the society say that we are, then let us be trash and degenerates on our own. Don't interfere what one of the laws of power say. Ain't that one of the laws of power? Don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. Don't interrupt. If we trash and we don't know nothing and we're not doing anything and we're broke and we, you know what I'm saying, our families and our and things like that is just so broken, we don't got no culture, we not no good, then let us be not no good over here in the corner. You ain't got to worry about it. So what you worried about it for? Why spend even the time and the money to outsource your meddling with the Black community and a conversation that we are having? Let's move on to the next one. It says many Black pages on Twitter Many Black pages on Twitter that spread anti-Black men's beliefs and start arguments are being exposed as people from East and South Asia and India. The account below, for example, is well known for starting gender wars between Black people online by pretending to be an American Black woman. Twitter has a new feature that allows you to see people's locations. Okay. And this right here is an example of some of the things. She needs a nice, handsome, exotic man, not a ninja. So just, you know what I'm saying? The Black Barbie doll or whatever, the only Black Barbie or Black Barbies. This account is based in East Asia and the Pacific. This is not a Black woman's account, although it is posing as a Black woman's account in order to post inflammatory things. That unfortunately the types of posts they make are too racist, insulting, and actually post on this platform. Okay. Please do not believe that it's one or two or only the accounts that have been shown. Because I'm starting to believe that a lot of this stuff is a Psy-Op as well on all of these different platforms, not just these specific ones that are being talked about, but just about all of them. If they too inflammatory, and we're going to talk about why it's so inflammatory, because we're going to get into the real issue. But what we're going to do right now is go to a commercial break. So after these messages, we'll be right back. So I need everybody to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. If you want to keep your skin looking and feeling its absolute best, then you need the body butter on the screen, and you need to go to ashkicking.com in order to take a look at and purchase the rest of their personal care line, which is also awesome. If this is going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson at checkout. Okay, once again, the link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. I owe you guys a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to So like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Mr. Bond. Say, hey, Kendra, did you see the Daily Rapper? I did see that. Thank you, Chief Rocker. Thank you so much for your contribution. I always appreciate you. Thank you so much. Frederick has been a member for 19 months. That's almost 2 years. Thank you so much for 2 years worth of contribution. I definitely appreciate you and all of my members. Much love to Crimson Cure and chat. Much love to you as well. Thank you, Deacon Weasel. Facts, and facts. And thank you, Bernard. That the CIA don't have a charter to operate domestically, only abroad. In order to operate the Black community Psy-Op, they use a roundabout way. Foreign entities. Exactly. And thank you so much. Okay. You like that? You like my like, share, and subscribe? Okay. So we need to get right into it. Okay. So not only are we becoming more aware of the fact that these so-called Black-owned accounts are not owned by Black people at all. These people are not Black at all. They're not FBA. They're not Caribbean. They're not African. They're not Black at all. They are coming from other countries. Way in India. There was another one where they was coming from Russia and all of these other things. I'm urging people to be more aware of what you are looking at. This is why I be saying you can't believe every inflammatory post that you see. This is why, see, this is a complete disruption of the conversation. Okay? A complete disruption of the conversation. Because as I was trying to explain earlier, the conversation that we were having genuinely was actually too productive. It was productive. It was productive. Because they have been trying, this is not the first time, they have been trying to put hit pieces out on the Black Manosphere, so-called, and the different content creators and things of that nature. You had people writing articles that had negative things to say about people who was making content, Black men who were making content and things of that nature. The content was not inflammatory in and of itself. Okay? And so the conversations, when we were having them without outside interference, these were productive conversations, much less arguing, much less, we wasn't going for viral moments. It wasn't about clicks, views, and engagement. It was about actually having people stop talking to you. If there was panels that's gonna talk some sense. All that foolishness, you getting on a panel talking crazy for a viral moment? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You were going to have some kind of sense, or you're not going to get to speak on the panel. Nobody wants to hear that. But see, that was too good. That was too much like right. Leaving us was too much like right to talk among ourselves. Everybody else is able to talk among themselves. But as soon as we try as Black people to get ourselves together some kind of way to start somewhere where we can speak to one another, and it just happened to be online. Y'all doing everything else online. You folks is having all kind of illicit sex online. People deleting people online, posting it. People abusing people online, posting it. People doing all kind of stuff. But as soon as Black people got together and the men led the charge and saying we have to start having these conversations among ourselves as men, the women was not even initially invited to the conversation to begin with. It was only after a while that it was like, you know what? The community do need to come back together. And we are unable to do that if we don't include the women in the conversation just to see where their mind is really at. The conversation that we were having was too productive. So break it up by causing confusion and stoking the flames of anger. Because if we mad at each other, we're not going to want to talk to each other with any sense, and we're not going to have any willingness to seek a solution. We're going to go more and more into it ain't no solution. This is why I be saying you can't believe all of the posts just because it seemed like a Black woman said something on Instagram, or she said something on TikTok, or she said something on Twitter, and it's a post and all of this other kind of stuff. Like, you can't just go on that. Oh, this is what the women think. Oh, this is what the women are on. No, absolutely not. Because those posts are made not only to anger the men, but to influence the real women in the real world to try to think that way or to try to adopt it. So these things, especially pages, and it worked both ways. You have men pages that don't like, that talk crazy about the women or whatever. Oh, these women ain't this, these hoes ain't that, blah, 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 blah. And then you have these females, so-called Black women pages that's not the Black women at all, on here saying inflammatory things about Black men. All Black men is dusty. All Black men is this. All Black men is that. Starting these narratives that don't actually start in women's conversations that women was actually having. This is why I always be saying, no, these talking points getting out of hand, because a lot of it is like, oh, well, the women must think that. And if the women think that, then it ain't no hope. No, stop following every little post that you see. This AI getting out of control. You got to stop following all of that. Everything that is posted that instantly hits your emotion. When you watch something and it hits your emotion, it bypasses your logic. That's the point of getting you upset. The point of posting inflammatory things that don't make sense, things that get you riled up, things that make you think, make the men think specifically that, oh, we can't deal with these women at all because the women are crazy. To get you in your emotions means to bypass your reason. These posts are there to bypass your reason, even as a man. Because if it hit your emotions first, you didn't think about it. You felt it. And once you feel it, ain't no need to think about it. I can't stress enough the things that I be saying about don't listen to all these posts. Oh, women don't just think like that. That's not. This is why I sit here and give y'all honestly what women's nature is and how we really be thinking, so that you can compare those two things. Because when you see a post that has all of this foolishment in it, quote unquote, this is how women thinking. No. Black women have enough real foolishness. We're not going to compound it with AI foolishness. We're not going to do that, because the compounding of the AI foolishness is there to make us lose complete hope, both the men and the women. Complete hope in each other, so we will never come together. Ever. Not even in future generations we won't. So feminism and certain women's behavior is already problematic in real time. So we don't need AI problems. We don't need troll accounts. We don't need bot accounts, bot farming accounts. Some of y'all be on Twitter, Instagram, this place, that place, arguing with people, and they're not human beings. I need y'all to understand that. Y'all be getting online, getting hyped up, trying to talk sense into these women posting, and they're not real. It's just there to get you hyped up. And you take that energy into real. They're hoping that you take that energy into real life. That's what they're hoping, that you take that energy out offline and put it in your real life, so you can really feel like that about men and really feel like that about women. For the women, they put, you know what I'm saying, trauma stuff. I run across it on Instagram all the time. Oh, your husband is gonna do this to you. Your husband does that to you. You know, this is the problem. All of these faceless pages that are supposedly, you know what I'm saying, there for, you know, counseling and coaching, but it's faceless. Who are these people? They're so-called giving all of this advice about how you're supposed to act or not act in a marriage, how you're supposed to deal with men, or how you're supposed to deal with women. Faceless bot pages. And people are taking this stuff in on some level. That's why they're doing it. So this is actually also why when real women say, no, we actually don't collectively think that X thing, we don't really believe that. Like, most women don't actually think such and such thing. That's why, and then the men be like, no, because I seen a post that the woman said. No, it's likely a bot post. Like, let's be real. Can't believe everything that you reading and seeing. Can't believe everything. Oh, the women is really doing it. Like I said, women have enough real foolishness. We don't need AI foolishness and faceless posts, posing as women, posing as men. And we get to take the emotional baggage off of that because something made you upset or something made you be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what they talking about? You know, that's crazy, you know, and all of that type of stuff. So they're clicking the engagement. They're doing it for engagement, but not just for engagement, but for stoking the fires between us so we can call each other liars. And it's really going mostly from it. The way that I see it, it's mostly like the posts are posing as women to make the men mad. And I think that's happening more so. And the reason why it works well that way is because, like I said, women already have a level of foolishness going on. So it's not, quote, it's not too far of a logical jump to think that women have completely gone off the deep end, and not just a few women, all the women. Not half the women, all of them. Off of one post, off of two posts. That's why it worked. So the lie is working because there's a little bit of truth. Yeah, Black women do have some foolishness going on. We've already mined through those types of behaviors. We already understand that. But ain't struck y'all that it's getting crazier and crazier and crazy. Like it's getting crazy to the point where no human being actually could think that. Could think certain things, especially on a wide scale. That's how I start raising my eyebrow, like, because I know I'm a woman, and even in my broken state, some of that stuff didn't make sense then. Even when I was traumatized and unhealed, that stuff was the stuff they be talking about now is too crazy. So it's like, no, ain't no real person did that. Ain't no real person doing that, talking about that. And lo and behold, it's like, what? But this is exactly what I'm talking about. The reason that the botting works is because women already have foolishness going on. So like I said, not too far of a leap to make the men angrier by saying there's no way that the women are thinking this doesn't make any sense. Like this is worse than this is worse than any other delusional talking point we've been talking about. This is why we didn't need interference. We did not need any interference because the disinformation and misinformation is at an all-time high at this point. Even when we looking at people talk in real time, it's at an all-time high at this point. The level of disinformation is out of control. Let me show you something, because anytime y'all make me agree with Stacey Abrams, I get mad. I'm about to show y'all something real quick, because don't make me do that. Why would you make me why would these people make me agree with Stacey Abrams. Why? I'm gonna share something with y'all real quick. Now, this was that Madame Noir, another disinformation. Madame Noir is a disinformation feminist publication, and they always be doing feminist stuff for black feminism. And this little L'Oreal girl, you know, she's a regular host on that channel and on these little podcasts. And it's like, look at this.
To bring up, and to me, I feel like this is something not to point fingers or to blame, because I feel like when you divide, obviously that's when you conquer, right? But a big part of the people that I know was not going for Kamala, let's just talk about that whole situation. It wasn't us. It wasn't the Black women that wasn't going out and voting. Honestly, I spoke to a lot of Black men, and they were not going out to vote.
Statistics tell us that most Black men that voted did vote for Kamala.
Exactly. Well, I'm talking about people like now on radio. I have a lot of people that call in, and they made it very, very clear that they were never going to vote for Kamala ever, is what they said. They said they'd take anyone over her.
So I will say this. So having experienced this myself, I can speak from a place of both power and information. Okay. Sexism is absolutely real in every community. Racism is absolutely real. But let's look at the data. And what the data says is that Black men support Black women. Black women support Black women the most. Yeah. But the next highest support system, Black men. Now, a lot of folks who call in to tell you what they are going to do weren't planning to do anything anyway.
They didn't vote at all.
And so we need to remember that disinformation often comes by planting people in our communities to fracture our belief systems. Black men voted for me at the same rate they voted for Raphael Warnock. But if you heard the news, Black men couldn't stand me, and that is designed to fracture our communities. I think it is so important that you raise that, because one of the misinformation points is that they leverage our inherent mistrust of systems to convince us that we don't have the support that we need.
That's right.
My responsibility is to never let them tell me that my brothers don't love me as much as my sisters.
Amen.
That's right.
But the other reality is that when they do those exit polls, you got to remember, we are 13% of the population. How exactly are you finding a representative sample when you're only talking to one or two people in every state? They then extrapolate from that in ways that shape narratives but defy math.
That's right.
Ooh.
And so we can't let them tell us who we are. But my point is,
I do want to bring up,
why did she make me agree with Stacey Abrams? Because she said I agree with her. How you gonna say, oh, well, the men said they wouldn't vote, when the numbers said that the Black men that voted in vast majority for Kamala? That's the math told us that. The numbers told us that. But they wanted to keep that narrative going. And she was like, listen, no, the number said something else. The number said that Black men support us. They voted for me. But then you get on the media and it's a different story. You get somewhere else and it's a different narrative. You get somewhere else and like she said something very key. Spread a narrative, but the math ain't mathing. How you got a whole narrative going, but the math? What about the math? What about the cold hard facts? What about the truth? We can't just go with any narrative that feeds what we want to hear. The women are going with any narrative that demonizes Black men. And Black men are going by narratives, any narrative that demonizes Black women. It's like it's being gone for without checking, without looking, without counting, or without even making the logical deduction about it. Like, could this even be true mathematically? We are trained to exacerbate things that are not so, or that's not real relevant. Like, we'll have a lot of conversations around a whole bunch of women are OnlyFans, but it's like, what, 1% of the population of women? Like, I was trying to look for the number, the actual percentage of the whole population of eligible women, how many women actually do OnlyFans. They only want to say how many OnlyFans users or content creators are female. We know that that's the majority of the people who are on there. I can't see those stats. They're not giving me that particular stat. Let me see. Okay, this one is saying, it's giving a little bit of the numbers, but it's saying recent discussions claim that 10% of American women aged 18 to 25 are active creators on OnlyFans. So it says, so according to the U.S. Census Bureau, there are approximately 10 million women aged 18 to 25 in the United States. Okay, 10 million in the United States, period. And reports indicate that around 1.4 million American women are content creators. So if there's 10 million women between the ages of 18 and 25, and only 1.4 million of them would actually be on OnlyFans, that's, what is that, like less than 1% of the population. But it's not 10% of women, it's 10% of women aged 18 to 25. How many women are aged 18 and 25 specifically? So that's not even a sample size of all the women. That's a sample size of young women. So if it's 10 million women aged 18 to 25 in the United States to begin with, and only 1.4 million of those women are OnlyFans content creators, that's a minority. If it's approximately 10 million women ages 18 to 25 in the United States to begin with, and then only 1.4 million of them, of that small percentage, are on OnlyFans, then that is a small minority of all the women. No, we already know that the accounts are majority women owned. That's not my question. No, not 1 out of 10 women are on. Okay. That is a very small minority of women who actually do OnlyFans. The point is, OnlyFans is talked about as if half of all women are on OnlyFans. That is how it is discussed. It is discussed as if the majority of all viable women are on OnlyFans, and we need to talk about it because we need to get rid of it. But if a small minority of women are doing OnlyFans, why are we focused on it? Because if it's 1.4 million out of 10 million women between the ages of 18 to 25, it's even less than that are Black women. It's even less than the 1.4 because that's all the women. 1.4 is all the women that's on there. Black, white, Asian, whoever. So the Black women who are on there is an even smaller minority. Why are we solving for that? Why are we solving for that? Why are we solving for a minute amount of women that are going to be whores? Because there's always a minority of women who are going to be whores. Name for me any society or civilization that has ever been in existence that has 0% whores. Name me. Name me. Name me. Just like the criminal element of Black men is the minority of Black men, Name for me any society that any Black men have ever been a part of where there has been 0% criminal element. 0% criminal element. No criminal element. This is how propaganda works, because it persuades us to look at the minority, make them the majority in our minds, and focus our energy on the negative things without any solution, to the point where anybody that is good, we completely ignore them. Good men are not the only ones being ignored. Good women are also being ignored. They're being ignored in real time. The good people among us, the good men and women among us who do not buy into all of this foolishness and all of that, completely ignored and overlooked. When good men start talking about how they behave and how they comport themselves as men in their life, then it get to talking about, oh, you know what I'm saying, you simping and you doing this and you doing that. If good women start talking about, no, well, we actually don't buy into a lot of that foolishness, you know what I'm saying? We actually think like this and move like this. No, the women are lying because too many posts say y'all do this and y'all do that. Good. Absolutely. That was the whole point, Deacon, to look at it differently. You know, we already separated. I keep on telling people the hyenas are proud to be hyenas. A conversation will solve it. A meaningful conversations will reveal the mindset. Women are not some kind of overlords, masterminds. Most of the females, especially the hyenas, cannot even keep their story straight for 30 minutes on a panel, let alone able to fake an entire personality and mindset for years on end. Thank you so much. Move Fast 5150 said history is now coming out more and more. Whenever We never came from nowhere else. We always been here from ancestry, U.S. indigenous American Indians. We the one who got sold out by others and the slaves. Not to stray away from the topic. My apologies. No problem. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. And thank you so much. The 8218 said, to the previous point, maybe the powers that be know us better than we know ourselves. Black people being less than was a lie for us to believe. Looking at the post-Civil War, we have a history of thinking clearly and working through issues. Exactly. And thank you so much as well. I greatly appreciate y'all's generous contributions. Thank you. Again, Deacon Weasel said this is the most important live stream I have ever heard. Thank you, Cheyenne, for the super sticker. I greatly appreciate your support. Thank you, Pharaoh said fake accounts equals wolves in sheep's clothing. Thank you, Hannibal, for your contribution. I appreciate you. Thank you, Moonlight. Thank you. I read it, but thank you for your contribution. And thank you, Everyday Muslims, that optimism is a sunnah. It definitely is. I wanted to bring this to you guys because this is important for us to think about, not just today, but moving forward. We have to start listening. Listen. What you see and what you hear is not real. I cannot stress it enough. I cannot stress it enough. It's not. The Matrix is breaking down before your very eyes. Nothing is as it has ever seemed. All you need to do is have some critical thought. Control the thoughts in your mind. Control your mind. Start controlling your mind. You need control over your mind. Do not let your mind stray. Don't let it just think whatever all day. Control the flow of your mind. Control the thought flow. The flow of consciousness. And when I say your mind, not just your conscious mind, but also start controlling your subconscious mind. It is what brings things to fruition, your subconscious mind. You're going to have to start controlling your mind because they are doing mind control. So if you don't control your mind, somebody else will. Control your own mind, and you will be less susceptible to mass mind control and mass propaganda and lies. It's not going to do nothing but get more and more fake as time go on. That's the only thing that AI finna do is get more and more fake. They're selling, even the selling of AI is a fantasy land. Because AI is not even the thing that they're selling it to be. It's not even as capable as they want everybody to believe. It's glitchy and crazy. Them AIs can't drive them cars. That AI can't do them jobs. They done fired 300, 400, 500, 600,000 people from across industries trying to get AI to do the job that was supposed to be so simple and a monkey could do it, and AI can't do it. AI cannot, it's starting not to be able, they're quietly trying to hire people back because AI can't do it. It's insufficient. They want us to think that this stuff is going on without a hitch. It's glitchy as I don't know what. They trying to make you be like, oh my God, AI gonna do everything, and humans is not going to be able to do. They trying to put you in a position for you to believe that you cannot survive outside of the matrix. And so once they get you to believe outside of the matrix, that's when they got you. They make you do anything for a Klondike bar. You'll be doing literally anything for a morsel of food and a little bit of anything. And people who think for themselves, who can see the matrix for what it is and don't buy into it, those are the people that's actually going to be in trouble. This is why Allah say in the Quran, he stresses to us, do not allow Shaitan to make you fear poverty. Do not let him do that to you. The fear of poverty will have you doing anything and everything. You'll be doing everything but what God told you to do. You'll be doing everything than what's right. You'll be doing everything else. And with that being said, I'm going to jump on about here. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Kieran. This is my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.